We're alive. We're not just live. We are alive. They thought they could take the Zudes away from the public, but you can't keep a good Zude down, and that's what we're gonna learn today, because the Zudes are back. It's the middle of summer. The Zudes are ready to deploy. The Zudes shine brightest on the cusp of World War III. As always, that's where we were born, and that's where we will thrive. We are back.
Let me just fill you in on some of the military plans that we've had here at the ZUDECAST. This is actually... we've actually recreated with hologram technology the original ZUDECAST set with the same. It's actually, you think that this is fake brick, but it's actually
real.
Fake. No, it's double fake. Hold on, I didn't introduce you yet. This is fake brick. Not only is it wallpaper, it's a hologram of a wallpaper. We're just using the Zudes alien technology to recreate the set so you guys wouldn't notice any difference. But we're actually deep underground. There's no bunker buster bombs that are gonna get to us anywhere down here in this undisclosed location. Don't look at our fucking IP address. Don't look at our shit. We're so hidden right now, dude. I just hit my feet with a baseball bat just to make sure I can't get drafted.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Club foot.
Yeah,
Smart.
dude.
Yeah. Well, we are back. It's your boy Grody here. We got Crispy Grooves here.
Howdy.
Yeah, and we are back. We're rocking and rolling. We got something special planned for y'all today here. We got a very talented artist. He's going to right across from us here.
How's it going?
Yeah. What's your name,
up?
bro?
Name's Cameron.
Yeah. And what do you do?
I try to stay alive.
That's valid.
Eat food here and there, and I don't know.
What kind of food do you prefer?
Some Code Red.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, take that, RFK.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Code Red. We're going to cheers to the Code Red again.
Cheers to Code Red.
I'm drinking Code Green right now. I'm drinking the Enlightened Mint, dude, because I'm actually enlightened. We're actually not at war, dude. You guys don't worry. Everything's fine. It's actually Code Green. We're chilling, dude.
Yeah.
What's all this we stuff, you know? We're at war, dude. We is a fucking French word, dude. I ain't never heard that shit in my life. This is America.
Oh, yeah. But you stab people for a living, right?
I do, yeah. I stab people over and over and over again for like 8 hours straight.
Hell yeah. With different colors?
Different colors. Just depends on like what mood I'm in.
So you have a gun that stabs people, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, I have several guns, and each one has something to stab the person with, depending on like how I'm feeling.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah, how they're feeling, actually.
How they're feeling. Yeah, if they want to get stabbed. Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. So you're a tattoo artist.
Yeah. Sorry, got sidetracked there.
No. Hell yeah.
A gun that stabs, dude.
Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah.
That rules.
This full strap, bro.
And then it's like the client, based on which parent they have problems with, they can get different gun stabbings on their body, dude.
Definitely. Yeah. When my dad gets tattooed, you know, it's the sharpest one.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I go easy on him though. But yeah, tattoo, do art, play music, hang out.
Do you have a tattooed family?
Somewhat, yeah. My dad, he has a little collection going. He's always had some, and my brother and I started getting tattooed around the same age, so him and I kind of go back and forth. And outside of that, little small ones here and there.
Right.
It's mainly my dad and my brother and I.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he was like pretty chill with it, like with you guys like getting tattoos, or you guys start pretty young?
Pretty young, yeah. It's not, there wasn't even really like a conversation. Like I remember because I grew up with my dad, but my mom would always be, you know, begging me not to get one. And my dad, it wasn't like, I knew I never had to ask. I know I'm going to get one, you know, because I'd always see his, and he has some cool ones, but it's a lot of naked women.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of always knew, I was like, I definitely can get a tattoo, you know. Right. You get to have like 6 naked ladies, and I'm getting one for sure.
Right. Well, and it's just funny because, like, you know, if your mom's like, don't get a tattoo, and it's like, it's like, why, dude? Dad pulled you with the naked
He's
lady
looking
tattoos.
cool. Why can't I try to look cool too?
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
It's unfair.
My grandpa, or they tell me about my grandpa. He had like a pinup lady with like her butt was on his biceps, so he'd go like that, and it looked like
make it move.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first one you got?
First one was like a little symbol. Me and all my friends in high school drew up together, and we got like this matching symbol for our friend group, but everyone got their own version of it in a different spot.
Hell yeah, that's like some shit out of a book, bro.
Yeah, it was kind of cult-like in a way, but they're really cool people. Still friends with them. So
hell yeah. Well, what's up with that, man? Is that lightweight, like some cult vibes? Tell us about that shit.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I don't know. It was we were called the Crew, and the symbol, it's spelled the Crew with all the letters in one symbol. So there's like KR, there's like one symbol. And no, they're just my friends in high school. We just play music and watch movies, do whatever we could in Truckee where I grew up. To just be like, yeah, it was pretty boring there. So it was just like a group of guys to roll around with. But
Truckee's a cool spot.
It's cool.
It's very small, but
very small. Yeah, not as small anymore, but
yeah, it's very it's kind of pricey these days getting out there.
Definitely
playing I feel like the last 2 times I've been in Truckee have been like, it was like once it was in the summer I was playing a gig down there, and it was just like everything was on fire, and it was just like the most like horrible looking like hellscape. Like it just like pure just red blood moon looking like fucked up shit. And then the other time that I went was like 6 months after that, and it was just like completely snowed in. I was basically stuck there, like couldn't get out. And it's like, I was like, that's Truckee for you, dude.
Yeah, the snow gets, I think it's gotten less intense as time has gone on with the winters there, but definitely as a kid growing up, like you get sick of shoveling snow real quick, or just in the morning having to go out with like the school ID and like scrape your window shield or whatever.
Yeah, So you were in Truckee from your whole childhood.
Pretty much, yeah. Before that, I was in Half Moon Bay, just briefly, like just kind of joined up with my stepmom's family, and then got like a bunch of brothers, and then we all moved to Truckee together, and that was childhood up there.
Nice.
It was kind of dark at times, but it was fun still. Trying to get creative and kind of stay out of trouble, but not really. I don't know.
Yeah. When did you get into art, or you first start getting into it?
I think it's it's something that I've done since I was a pretty little kid, through my aunt initially. She would always just make sure there was like supplies out and make sure I have pencils or whatever, try to do like a little exercise with me doing like draw a frog or whatever. Like that was like one of the first memories. It's just, she did watercolor, so we were trying to like paint a nice frog, something like that.
Cool.
So mainly through her, probably when I was like 6 or something. But then her dad, my grandpa on my mom's side, who I actually never got a chance to meet him because he passed before I was born. He actually worked for Disney, which is kind of cool.
Tight.
He worked on Bambi.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
And he did like some of the watercolor backgrounds in the movie. Like that movie, the backgrounds are all loose, and then the animation up front's like really tight. So it's like this super beautiful looking animation.
Right.
But I think there was like a ton of people that worked on it. Like Disney seemed like it wasn't, at least at that time, my mom's always told me it like wasn't really a great place for him. Because they just have like an army of people doing there's like the main team that worked on the movie, they're in the credits, and there's like just hundreds of other people that,
because it's like cell by cell, like frame by frame, especially back then. Because when did Bambi come out? Like whatever, like
I think the
50s,
yeah,
like
maybe
that.
late 50s.
Yeah, that's wild because it's like there's none of the modern like ease of use stuff, or like that digital animators, no copy paste. Yeah,
has a different look to it.
Yeah, well, it's like, man, that's what we've lost along the way, though, is like all that crazy like frame by frame, the rotoscoping like style animation, and like I saw a thing that was like Disney's hiring a bunch of 2D animators now to so they're like, we're bringing it back. We heard you guys. We heard that you guys don't fuck with all the 3D stuff we're doing, and I'm like, you guys need to hire new writers, though.
Most likely,
the problem is the real thing more than the 2D. But it's good to see, because like there was like, I don't know, like in like the 90s and 2000s, it was like that renaissance period of Disney where it's like it was like that last stretch of the 2D animation where it's like you got like Lion King and Aladdin, and then you had like all those like or those early 2000s ones, you know, fucking Atlantis, and dude, they were going crazy, and all those movies had fucking baddies in them. Hold on, we're getting a little bit of audio stuff. I don't know if that's actually coming through on the actual show. I don't think it is. I think it's just
the cables all touching each other and shit right over there.
The code red.
Yeah, it's the code. It's the code red, dude. I think we're good.
Shorten shit out.
But yeah, I mean that kind of all ties into the like when I started and stuff. It's I think for a while it was like a family thing, and just because I knew that he taught my aunt and my aunt taught my other aunt, and then they're all dead now. So it's like try to keep making art, and
that's the torch, dude. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, just keep doing it, and like I have a lot of their art that I enjoy, so it's like it's cool just pulling inspiration from that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So. Well, let's. I think that's a good point to go ahead and pull up his Instagram so we can take a look at someone Cameron's art, bro. Shit's fucking sick, bro.
Oh wait, no, this is.
So this is the first one up here. This is a.
Oh yeah, here we go.
We got your tattoo page. This is your main page, right?
Yeah. This is mostly tattoo related.
Oh dang, it's coming through all small here. Hold up.
You ready to scroll down through some of them?
Damn comments.
Oh man,
it's okay. That's here.
But yeah, man. So tattoos, is that like your main medium? You'd say like the main thing you're doing like with your art, or?
Excuse me. Well, I'd say right now, that's what I spend most of my time doing. But I definitely like to do art outside of it as well. Just it requires a lot of focus, and just you can work at it like endlessly, which is part of what makes it really cool, I think. So I'd say
this little eyeball monster right here.
Yeah, that was like a little cover-up thing we did. But outside of that, I just do like mainly a lot of drawing.
Nice. You did that flyer for Grindhouse Comedy. Yeah, those are the homies.
Yeah, those guys are cool. They hit me up.
Let me see if I can just like pull or like blow this up. Damn it. Hold up. See if that works.
Damn Instagram.
I know it's like it's not formatted right for this using half of the monitor shit that we're doing. This is badass right here though.
Thanks, dude.
I love that stuff because it's like kind of like traditional, but kind of like got like a medieval thing, but then also has like kind of like a Cartoon Network like sort of like modern vibe to it. I don't know. It's like, what would you call this style?
I mean, this thing is causing some problems here.
Dude. Yeah, we got some.
I'd say
got some water for you.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah. Can I pour this into this?
Oh, dude,
feel free to.
If you need to water it down, dude. That's right. That's like Fabuloso, you know? It's like the concentrated cleaner. You're like, hold on, dude, just pour some water in there.
A tiny bit. Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is badass.
Style-wise, I mean, I think a lot of what I've looked at and what I've enjoyed getting as far as getting tattoos myself, or I like traditional tattoos a lot, and so I'm learning still, you know, I'm pretty new, so I try to kind of pull elements of that into my tattoos, I guess, but also a lot of the time it's the customer will have like an idea of stuff they want to incorporate, and if it is like medieval or like sci-fi or something like that, like I'm always happy to do that, because there's so much you could get inspiration from, like anything, you know, like movies or books or whatever. So
absolutely,
it's pretty cool. Like
some of this is this in a like this one right here, for example, like you designed that yourself, or did somebody?
Yeah, so they wanted like a figure crossing legs doing like a meditation thing, and the rest of it was kind of up to me. So I feel like there's definitely times where it's nice to like have a little bit of freedom to like do your own spin on the design, you know,
right?
But still make sure that the customer's happy with it. You know?
I was gonna say, like, all your like use of color and like it's so like precise. Like, how is there like is using color tricky, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, all tattooing is like, it's very tricky. There's just a lot of different things all at once, like constraints and things that you can. Again, it's kind of like endless, like where you can take it, you know. So color is definitely a challenge, like not overworking the skin or not doing it not enough, you know. There's also like different needle sizes that you want to use when you're putting in color versus just doing like an outline. And
these are so cool because it's like
question, but
these are so cool because it's like they're like kind of condensed more, but it's still like very like thick lines and very like clearly defined, and it's like so like readable too, because it's like I feel like these days like a lot of people are getting like the fine line stuff, and I'm like, that stuff looks really cool like when you first get it, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking,
I mean, it's not easy to do some of it. I feel like if you're doing the real fine line, like
it's just like, how's it gonna look in like 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, if it's done well, I think it'll probably look good. But a lot of the time, if you don't, get it all the way in so it doesn't fall out, then probably might not look quite the same when you get the first day or whatever. But yeah, I enjoy doing color.
So you're saying there's like different types of like needle heads though, to like
exactly.
how on all the shading too, like how do you do like the blending, like when like colors are meeting and stuff, because it's like blended really well. Do you just like
so I mean there's a few ways to do it, but the main way I think that everybody pretty much uses is using like a magnum needle where they're kind of like spread like that. It's like whereas the liner is like more to a point, right? And you're kind of just like combing over and like blending out. If that there's a lot,
it's like a paintbrush of needles almost.
Yeah, it is. More or less. So you're kind of just slowly building up value. And again, like you were saying, like with a lot of the lighter, like thin line stuff or really light black and gray, like to build up some of those values. I haven't done a ton of those style tattoos, but it's like a lot of really light movement, like over and over and over. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily like really get it in. Whereas like I think some traditional tattoos, it's just a little bit quicker and then it's in like almost not immediately, but I don't know, it's just a different approach, I guess,
because I know like some people swear by like the old school style needles. I only got a couple tattoos, so I don't really know. I've just like heard what a couple of tattooers have said, but it's like some people swear by like, no, you gotta have like traditional needles. It's like what are you using? What do people like prefer, I guess?
I mean, tradition. Let me see if I can unpack that. Like, there's definitely like a tradition in all of it, and there's certain needles that like maybe the old school guys and girls would use or whatever. But all that kind of bleeds in. Like the fundamentals of it can be applied to like the black and gray thin line, or like what I'm doing, or super traditional, or even like realism and other stuff like that. So, I do feel like there's like people can be pretty like hard-headed about it sometimes, but I think sometimes it's for a good reason, because there's a certain amount that can be done in tattooing like with the fundamentals, and like I don't know, it's not like you get to pick the fundamentals. They're kind of there, which I think is kind of cool because it gives you like a framework to kind of build on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like as far as like what needles they were I don't know, it gets like kind of technical, but there's like liner needles and mags, and mags are for color and shading, the liners are for doing the outline. You can do like fills and little color fills and stuff with the liner too. It just takes way longer.
I see.
And then it's like a little bit rougher.
It's just a thinner, it's like a finer point or whatever.
Finer point, like just a, like a ballpoint pen, and you're gonna fill in like a square and just
yeah, that would just be like brutal as fuck
brutal to you, and it's not nice to you as the customer, but I definitely did that a lot. Do
you ever get like carpal tunnel or like any of that kind of stuff from doing it like after like a sesh, like after doing like a few hours, because it's like it's like vibrating or whatever in your hand. It's like it's like, I imagine it's probably like the feeling of like when you use like a fucking like weed whacker for like how long, or like a power tool or something like that, and then you feel your hands just kind of like
totally. I mean, I don't want to just sit here and like drink Code Red and complain, but there's a lot of pain that comes after it, and it's definitely, I mean, I started when I was 35, and I think the older you get, it seems like if you don't take care of your body, which I don't really that much, it's tough. It's not just your hands, it's like everything. I think it's your back and your mind, and just being focused for a long period of time, your eyes.
Totally.
I don't know, but it's worth it to me. And I think to most people it is too. So you just kind of deal with it and do some stretching. I'm saying that for myself too. So I got to do that more.
What's like the longest sesh you've had to do?
Earlier on, I think in the first year, I mean, I still take forever. I'm pretty slow, but 10, 11 hours or something. I don't know. It shouldn't take that long. It's not like something to be proud of, but tattooing past midnight like pretty regularly, and then you definitely feel it, like you're saying, like in your hands or even like your fingers and stuff. I remember like just seeing parts of my fingers kind of change from like the way that I'm gripping the machine, like just like a divot almost. So that stuff, like initially you're like, all right, that's not going to go away, I don't think.
The divot, dude. That's wild, because that reminds me of like you've heard about like well, this might apply to us, dude. The streamer where it's like
where their headphone gets like their skull. They get like a fucking headphone.
Yeah, I forget.
Crease in their skull.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah, I was like, damn. It's like, what, have you been streaming video games since you were like a baby or
so
whatever?
It's in their skull and it goes out like the fish thing, like over their head.
Like they take off their headphones and then it's just like there's like a divot like in their head.
Oh, from wearing
the headphones.
Okay, I thought you were saying. Okay. I thought you guys were saying something completely different for some reason. Like someone was getting a microphone like implanted in their head.
Oh no, I'm sure that's real too. But
okay,
just like a living boom arm, bro. You're just like fucking,
totally.
Yeah. I would love to get like a video camera for like my head, like a GoPro built into my head, bro, and then it's just permanent, bro. So it's like a body cam for myself, and I can just like play shit back when people try to fucking put fake on my name, bro. Yeah, dude. For real, dude.
That's coming. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You get the. I don't know, some kind of cool helmet or something, you know?
Yeah, man.
There's like,
move around. All right, y'all. If y'all can get a cybernetic implant of any kind, what's the first thing you're doing? I'm going legs so I can fucking skate hella hard, bro, and be sick.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right. You up?
Maybe eyebrow or maybe
you're gonna be able to do the worm, like the eyebrow worm, you know what I'm talking about, where they're like, I can't even do it. Yeah.
Damn.
Or maybe like you ever see those things where it's like it's like it's not even a cybernetic, but it's like people put them on their legs and it looks like a robot leg, but it's like so you can be standing up but sitting down. Where it's like
kind of painful.
It's like a chair that like attaches to your like it attaches. I can't even describe it. It like attaches to your legs.
Damn.
And you're like, but I was like, I think I've seen it in that context too, with maybe even like with tattoos or with like other people that are doing like standing sort of, you know, kind of like sitting down tasks, or like a, you know, like a mechanic or whatever. I forget what the hell it's called, but I was like, damn, that's like the laziest but like best solution.
Oh yeah. Well, I think tattooers probably need prosthetics maybe at some point. I don't know.
You just get like the lasers just like built into your
totally.
finger.
Laser.
Yeah.
Laser's like the enemy of tattoo. Right. That's like opposite, right?
Well,
I know.
Lasering off the tattoo, or just laser like a laser gun, like an actual like weapon, or like
I don't know. They're just kind of like the opposite of each other, like a tattoo gun and a laser gun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. They're pretty opposite, but
I mean, they're kind of you know, a laser that removes tattoos and a laser that kills people is kind of the same thing. It just depends on how long you blast someone with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We should have both, I think.
Well, that'd be kind of cool if you just have like, it's like a real life like Control Z.
Oh yeah.
Where you're just like, fuck, I missed the spot.
Yeah. Or you could just
zap it away.
Yeah, just blow their whole arm off like you didn't like it. Just,
yeah.
Right.
Let me just start this over real quick.
Have you ever made a mistake though? Like
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've made some horrible ones for sure. In life or in tattooing?
Oh, in tattooing.
Yeah, tattooing for sure. Yes, it happens all the time. There'll be, you know, something maybe kind of small or something really significant, and you might not notice it till after. You kind of notice it during the tattoo, and you just do the best you can. You know, it's a handmade thing, and that's all you can do is just try your best that day.
Right.
And mistakes happen sometimes, so I've had some rough ones. For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever like just beefed one so bad that you're just like, fuck?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people will talk about it, whether it's like, even if it's a small mistake, because I think not just tattooers, but artists or musicians or comedians, like any creative thing, like you're super hard on yourself, you know? So if there's like one little aspect of it that no one else will ever notice, but you see it and you just can't unsee it, and you'll go to sleep thinking about it, and you'll just be thinking about it.
Totally.
Yeah. I have ones I'm still thinking about for sure.
I feel it.
Yeah.
That's all part of the process.
Yeah.
Where it's like no one else ever notices, or even when you just like keep yourself away from it for a while and then come back to it, you're like, what was I mad at? What was the mistake here? But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, artists are like, we're horrible, dude.
Can you
like,
plug me on one further over? Because it just keeps on touching those cables right there.
Yeah,
so plug me in one like further down. Plug me in like 4. All right.
Lucky number 4.
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
it's just all the cables touching over there.
I don't think this. Hopefully, this audio sound is not coming through, but I hear what you're talking about. It sounds
Is it the kind of grit?
It sounds a little. It sounds a little crunchy right now, But
Turn
could
me
just be
down.
our shit's all dusty from all this like
That's
nuclear
Oh,
bomb dust. But you know what I'm saying, I think it's just dusty. There we go.
Turn mine down because I'm loud as fuck on 4 now.
All right, here we go. Anyways,
Yeah. Sorry guys. All right.
Oh,
Cool.
That's a little better, I think. That
okay,
sounds
that's better.
crisp.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, sweet guys. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. So yeah, dude, I was gonna say, man, the pressure must be high doing tattoos, man, because I freak out on like a drawing. I'm like, fuck, if I'm doing pen and stuff, I fucked up an ink. So
Definitely.
it's like, yeah, it's way up here. That's why I do digital art too, because yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
Control Z, bro,
Yeah.
saves a lot of stress. Or I can draw like another asset. You do digital too, right? Though, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, digital for fun, and then I use the iPad for a lot of tattoo drawings too. So a lot
For
of the
stencils
stuff.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty common, but I think paper definitely has its own. It's probably better, I would say. There's just certain things in control with the pencil, and just
Right.
the iPad's like pretty limiting, although it's like really convenient too. And a lot of the time it's like just drawing on the screen, and then when you get to put it on the person, it's like it'll probably look good, you know, but it's just weird going from the tablet to printing it out to put it on their arm. And
Right.
It does work well, I think, most of the time, but I think drawing on paper gives you like a little more freedom or something.
Yeah, it's a little more tactile, I guess.
It's
or
just a little more
like-
work.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is a good thing, you know.
I think it's like a different
Yeah.
level of like resistance too, like when you're like actually, you know, using a pencil to draw,
Definitely.
and then that's going to be more, you know, similar to, I don't know, because I've noticed it's completely different for me to like be sketching stuff than to be just trying to sketch stuff on my
Yeah.
tablet. It's
Or
like a
not
different.
worrying about your hand getting hot on the screen or whatever, you know. They're
Yeah.
just like when you get
Right.
warmed up and you're doing paper, I don't know. And yeah, it just takes a little more time, but I would like to incorporate more paper drawing.
It's true because there's no
Yeah.
like resistance or anything on a on the
tablet,
tablet. It's just
yeah.
like a smooth glass, you know. It's like with a stylus, it's like not.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that same.
For
that same
certain
feel as a
things and
pencil.
like it works really well, especially for like quick smaller tattoos. Like it's great, super efficient, you know. But there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and yeah, digital is fun. I mean,
See, now did you have good handwriting like growing up?
I think it was all right.
It was all right.
If I
Okay.
try, I can do some pretty good
Some
block
nice-
letters.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but not the script was always hard for me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, now are you left-handed or right-handed?
left.
Oh, okay, yeah, me
Yeah.
too, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, hell yeah, bro. I'm doing this with my right hand, but that's
Oh,
okay.
wait.
That's okay.
Well, do we do it with the left?
That's all right.
now?
Yeah, or non-dominant.
There you go. Cool.
Hell yeah.
That's better.
Fucking yeah, I would always have problems in school with just like, dude, like when you have to like write like the essay question at the end of a test or whatever, and it's like, you know, it's like you have to like write like a whole page or whatever, and then your whole hand is just fucking smeared with all the fucking graphite,
Right,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, left is I think right. It's like more meticulous or something. Like you can get that focus, but
Yeah.
we're messy, you know. It's like
Right.
left is kind of you're just all over the place.
And it's just
But-
because you write from left to right, you know, in English or
Yeah,
whatever. It's just
totally.
like, but I wonder, but see, like people in like, you know, if you're writing like Arabic, that's the other way around. So then I feel like being right-handed would actually fuck you up.
Yeah.
'Cause then you get ink all over yourself or a pencil.
Gotta learn.
Right.
Because I feel like there would always be those kids in school too that are like, they're like, oh, I can't draw or whatever. Oh, I'm no good at drawing. But then they would have like immaculate handwriting. I'm like, bro, you're
yeah.
just like, you're dumping all your XP points into fucking handwriting.
Yeah, they could definitely draw. Like I feel like everybody can. It's
Yeah.
just if you don't enjoy it, it's one thing, but just practice. You know, if you want to, if it's
Right.
like something you enjoy, or even if you don't, it's kind of fun to just try.
Oh, dude, I
Yeah.
used to draw all the fucking time as a kid. I used to love drawing.
Yeah.
I got more into music later on. So you play guitar too, right? So
Yeah.
you play with bands and stuff.
Yep.
Now, see, do you play guitar right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
See, me too, dude. What the
Yeah.
hell, dude? Twins. Hell yeah.
Number 2. All right. Yeah.
Fucking
I don't know what that is. You know, it's just
It's interesting.
weird.
Well, because it's like with me, there was, you know, right-handed guitars around. Like my dad had, you know, a guitar. You know, he had like an acoustic and he had like an SG.
yeah.
But they were both just right-handed. So that's just what I always knew. And I like learned like drums and stuff right-handed too. Like I never played like open hand or anything like. And so, and I'm just wondering, I'm like, I wonder if they just did the same shit with pencil. I'm like, I just wish like someone would have just like had the courage to come up to me and just be like, just write with your fucking right hand.
Yeah.
Just stop fucking around.
I feel like something like that happened to me. Like I feel like I remember starting right-handed and I like switched for some reason or something. I don't know. They were
Well-
like it's not going to go well for you to just do left now. Like, just
right. See, that's because like back in the day, they would be like, no left-handed allowed.
Yeah,
You
dude,
like
I
they would just
remember.
smack you with a ruler or whatever. Or I mean, that's what people said. But I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like by the time like when I was a kid, it's like people were so soft, and it's like they would see just like a kid writing with his left hand, and they'd be like, just leave him alone. Just,
Loser.
he's okay.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like
Times were different,
I used to always joke around with like skateboarding. It's like goofy foot or left foot. Because like my brother used to always be like, oh, like regular. It's called regular, but I was like, yeah, but goofy's the right foot forward, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I don't know.
You ride goofy?
Yeah, I'm goofy
Cool.
foot. Yeah, or like southpaw in boxing too. It's weird. Like I don't know. That feels weird to me. You know what I mean?
Same.
Like it's weird how there's like default. Like I'm on like this is gonna be my main guy, and then like this is gonna be like the backup. I don't know.
Yeah. You box?
Not really. So when I was a kid, I actually we had my brother had boxing gloves, and we had boxing gloves, so he'd be boxing all his friends all the time. And then after school, I was in like 6th grade, and I was like a latchkey kid, and my friend came over to our house because like his parents would pick him up later. And so after a while, we were like boxing each other after school, and then we started like inviting a bunch of people to come over and box. So we had like a fight club going after school in like 6th grade.
Sounds like we had a similar childhood.
Yeah, man, dude, that's where it's at. And I had like a sound system, so we'd be like blasting hella music and shit. And then my brother came home one time. He's like, "What the hell?" And he's all like, "All right, you guys are gonna have to be safe now." Here, and they just like fucking refereed it basically instead of fucking stopping it. And then and then eventually we got caught. My parents were just like, "What the hell, bro?" He's starting a fight club. But I was really into it. My mom didn't let me do it because like she's like, "Oh no, you're gonna hurt your face. No, you're not boxing." So that's why I got into skating.
Yeah.
But
you wanted to box though.
Yeah, I loved boxing. I liked MMA. I mean, I still learned a little bit, from watching videos and like goofing around with my brother and stuff. But I think boxing is like one of the most practical things you can know how to do. You know what I mean? How to put your dukes up. Like, we got a homie here who does boxing lessons too. His name's Julian. So yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I did some boxing myself, similar to your story, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Just with friends and shit.
So you said you had like siblings and stuff too, or the?
Yeah, a bunch of brothers. Growing up was the youngest of 5 brothers.
Oh man.
And so
you're a survivor then.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was cool though. It was still cool. They're all a little bit into different music and art, so definitely got like a lot of exposure to stuff they were into, and I probably wouldn't have ever found out about it,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask too, because like my big brother, oh my god, like for like the longest time I was just like a little clone of him,
for sure.
Yeah, and then
I just kind of picked pieces from each of them, and I was like, "You're cool, I want to be like you guys,
Yeah.
So,
were your siblings also doing art stuff? Or was that your thing?
Yeah, no one really. I mean, I've drawn for as long as I can remember, but even like in middle school, high school, and stuff, like I do it here and there, but I mainly just play music. So no one in the family was really like pushing art stuff too much. Just mainly like hearing about my grandpa and my aunt and stuff, and they weren't really around. So it was pretty much just me. But they were into art, into weird movies and books and cartoons and stuff. So yeah, definitely some cool memories hanging out with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then so you started playing in bands and stuff, or how old were you when you started with that?
Started playing guitar when I was 12, and then had a band in high school for a few years, a punk band, and played a bunch of shows out in Reno.
Nice.
Because Truckee didn't really have. There was like my group of friends and maybe like somebody played trumpet or something. But it was us. We'd just go to Reno as much as we could, see shows.
Yep.
So that was really cool. That was definitely like important moment, I think, just learning about music and art and stuff, just getting to go to shows and meet people. And
Reno's got like a decent size scene, I mean, for like a for the biggest little city or whatever, you know, it's got like a solid
they had like a lot of good house shows growing up. There's this place called the Spacement that was really cool. Mainly just went to punk shows, so there's a band called like Disconnect, I think, that was really good from Reno. I think a few of the guys still play. But yeah, started there, and then always have played in bands. Like I played in bands in Chico when I was living there as well. And like, as you know, like Chico has a lot of different like opportunities to play. Yeah. So been able to
college town, party school town for sure.
Yeah. Been able to keep it going.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And well, so before the show, you were saying that, or you were like, oh, you know about the Torch Club, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've played that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have an embarrassing.
Yeah, I can tell that. I'll tell that one. I got a few.
Take us back, dude.
Sure. Yeah. The second place I lived in when I moved out here was over on F near like the railroad track. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, Midtown is like fun walking around and stuff. Like especially being new out here, I just kind of wander around at night and just do loops or see what's going on that side of town. And Torch Club is right over there. And it's kind of like a dive bar, and that I think is more like what I'm used to, like growing up in Truckee. At least then, there was like a bar called the Pastime Club, and there was like the Tourist Club, and it's just like one guy sitting in there with like a deer or whatever on the wall, you know. And that bar kind of reminded me of that. Just no deer in there, It's just like a music kind of dive bar thing.
Yeah, or you know what? I think is that near the place I played in Truckee was Moody's.
Oh, you played fancy place.
Yeah,
Moody's.
Like, that was like that's a nice restaurant there.
Oh, yeah, that place is top of the line. They had Paul McCartney played like a surprise show there one time.
What?
When I was a kid, it was still smallish, but everybody was like, "Holy fuck!"
Small McCartney,
because he was having food there, and then they got him to play like a little set.
Whoa!
Someone had a guitar, and he fucking just played.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a good venue, dude.
Yeah, we played there. And then we like stayed at the hotel, but I think like
super
creepy,
scary,
haunted.
Yeah,
and I
possessed.
And we stayed there for like a couple nights. It was like we were doing like 3 nights in a row there. I don't know why they do it like that, but like, but then we just like were being like way too fucking loud up there, and just like in the fucking like hangout room up on the top of the hotel, just like watching fucking King of the Hill at like 3 a.m.
That's not the place to watch King of the Hill.
No.
Man. Yeah.
And then just like. And like I don't remember what the occasion was, but they're like, oh yeah, we have like wine, we have champagne, and I was like, awesome, let me pop this fucking champagne, and then the fucking champagne just like just blasted all over their like perfect like wood floors.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
Like,
damn,
they need that there. They need more like chaos.
Use a little excitement. Yeah,
so.
Yeah, we didn't get invited back ever.
yeah. If that's that's downtown Truckee, and like Truckee's pretty small area, so that's like a pretty fancy block right there.
Yeah.
But there's cool little pockets around. There's different things to do, So.
And then so Torch Club kind of reminds you of
so
the kind of old building.
It's just like a dive bar.
Yeah,
It looks like it's been there forever. And like the
bartenders. It's been there since like the 30s.
Yeah. They just seem like cool people hanging out in there. I don't know. And so I went one night. Sunday night they were saying it's like open jam or something.
So
like,
Sunday session.
Yeah. And so
was it the Sunday session?
Yeah, Sunday. You maybe you were there. Hopefully not.
I haven't been for a little while, but
it was just sometimes if you're not feeling the best, it's kind of nice to just go out and see music or whatever. You're just going solo. And I remember seeing they do open jam. I was like, next week I'm gonna bring my Les Paul down, dude. Fucking bust it out because I haven't been playing at all. Huge mistake. I just playing punk and like I can usually jam with most people. Like just I learn by ear and like can kind of play along and figure out like some rhythm or something. But playing like soul and funk, it's not punk. It's a very different thing. And I had a couple beers before I went up. I was feeling kind of nervous. But I was like, I'm good, and I waited in line. And it was like, it gets pretty crowded in there, so it was like going like the middle of the set. And it was my turn, brought my guitar up. It's like, all right, let's go. It says dialed in and started playing what I thought was kind of a cool, addition to the song. And a lot of the time when I play, like, I don't know if you experience this, but I'm a little nervous most of the time, I'll just look at the ground. Like even if I play a show or something, I'm just trying to get into it. I'm not like looking out at the audience or anything, or
I'm like looking at my hands.
Exactly.
Or like looking,
just trying to like ignore the nerves and just like get into it and feel whatever rhythm's happening.
Just listen,
So I thought I was doing that, but I was not doing that. And I probably played for like maybe 5 minutes. And then I looked up and like most of the band was looking at me and they're like all at the same time, like, get off.
Oh no.
So that's never happened. It was still really fun, but it was like, man, that was rough because it's so all these changes and it's pretty fast. Dude. You can't just play like a couple power chords and you're like, all right, I'm going to do like 3 power chords, like palm muted. Like this is like almost like a bass line. Like I thought it was sick what I was playing, whatever it was, but it did not. go well.
Wasn't hip enough.
Yeah. And then some dude used my guitar and he ripped it up. So that was cool. Got to watch him, and it's like a lot of leads that are like bouncing around. It's kind of like, I don't have that really.
It's like, it's so weird because like the Sunday session is like a very different type of jam session than like other jam sessions that
they're good.
Yeah, where it's like it's like these are all like just like the fucking ripping like jazz. I mean, like all the like all those cats are like super fucking talented, but it can be a little bit. It's like it's a little intimidating. No. Even for me, just like because it's like, and it's like, you know, even for me that it's like I've played shows with like a bunch of those fools where it's just like I'm like. But I'm still like, fuck, I'm trying to keep up with y'all.
But you can probably like at least kind of follow for a while and they're not like booting you out.
Right. It's like, that's like it's a very interesting vibe because it's like you never really know what's going on. Like it's not like, it's not like going to like a jazz jam or whatever where it's like, all right, boys, let's play fucking Autumn Leaves. Here, let's go. Let's play this. You know, it's like, it's just like, one guy's rapping a verse from like a Biggie Smalls song, but then like they're like kind of playing an instrumental from like this other song, but like nodding to like this other thing where it's just like creating like a crazy DJ mashup like thing going on all at once. And it's like then there's like 4 like saxophone players and trumpet players and stuff too. It's like a lot where it's like it's either
it always gets packed in there too. It gets fucking packed.
It was when I started, when it was getting close to go up and seeing how many, it was like pretty full, you know. So it was like nerve wracking.
Well, and it's crazy because like I know like when they first started doing the Sunday sessions there, like it was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be like the best like free jam, you know, free show in Sac, and it's like they keep advertising it as just like free, and then it's like that's the problem where it's like, you know, usually for Torch Club shows there's like a cover, there's like a $10 or $20 cover or whatever. But for these jam sessions, like people show up and it's like young people, like young cool people, and it's like, dude, the youngsters don't drink anymore.
No,
dude.
They're like, there to tear it up.
Yeah, like they're there to rap or they're there to play instruments or whatever. But it's like, dude, I don't know, like people like in their 20s these days like just don't drink. That's like,
it's a good thing, I think. I mean, I don't know.
It is good.
It's fun to do, but it can detract from, you know, making progress on
or
stuff.
It's just,
well, I just fucking, dude, I'm about to hit 6 months with no alcohol.
Dude,
bro.
Nice work, man. Congrats. Code red to that.
Yeah, code red, bro. I know my intake of sugary substances is definitely up, but you know, no, I mean, I think that's a good thing, bro. No,
it's
you
a
don't
great
need
thing,
to be
dude.
fucking, you know, people don't need to be getting faded all the time, you know.
I mean, it's pretty fun, and like beer and alcohol is like delicious, you know.
It's good for them, and I'm like, you know, I'm not saying that the kids like, well, it's not even that they're not drinking, it's just they're not buying drinks at the bar. They probably just got the fucking pregame in it, you know, which is like, I get it, I've been there, but also it's like it's kind of bad for like the struggling musicians that are like part of their pay is like based on like
drink tab
and like based on, you know, it's like it's like a, you know, percentage of the drinks and stuff, and it's just like, dude, it's like, come on, you guys, fucking, what do you mean you don't want fucking $9 IPAs anymore?
that is one good thing. I mean, I'm sure it's the same across like all genres pretty much in music, but I feel like if you start playing punk, if you don't, maybe you shouldn't, but you probably should just assume you're not gonna make money,
right? yeah.
You know, but I don't think any musician like goes into it with that intention, you know. But it definitely, you kind of just get used to that,
right?
And it's just a good way to meet people, you know.
Definitely.
But that was a cool experience going there, and like, even though I totally fucking bombed playing with them, you know, just to get to like see them play, see that level of musicianship, like they're amazing musicians,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's cool about it too, is like it's a good thing because it's like, you know, even if you kind of just like are still figuring out what you want to do musically, that's a good place where you can hop up, and it's like, you know, it's like there's a level of like, you know, it's like if some lady just like, I've seen like things where it's like some lady just starts coming up and just starts singing like all crazy, like way off key, like just totally like derailing the whole thing, and they'll be like, like cut a mic.
It's not just me.
No, it's definitely not just you.
Yeah. But people try to play drums and they like can't play drums like at all. They're just like, oh.
Yeah. But it's like, but it's cool for like I don't know, like that's what like going to jams and shit like that shaped me as a musician, where I'm just like, fuck, I need to go home and practice.
Oh yeah, push you.
Because now it's like I've been playing with my band for like, you know, 3 years at this point, and it's just like all the songs I just have them downloaded in my brain, like they're just like, you know, second nature at this point.
Got them down tight.
But it's like I'm not using those improv skills or like listening, you know, as much. It's more just like you know, kind of just like going through the motions, like where it's just like you have it like, you know, it's just like a subconscious thing. But yeah, when you go into like an open improv sort of sesh, it really fucking makes you think, dude. You have to actually
Totally.
like use your brain. It's like
theory and all that stuff. I mean, I missed out on all that, so lots of respect for you and all those guys playing that, because it's really cool to watch. Enjoy listening to it.
Well, it's funny.
I mean, it's like you got basically got. I mean, a lot of people have like degrees in music and shit, you know. Because I mean, you basically have a degree in music, right? Or like an AA or AA.
I never finished it.
But I mean, you know, you finished the music part though, you know, like so.
Yeah.
You know,
I took the theory classes and stuff. Well, it's like, well, dude, it's like you go to school and you learn like music theory, and you're like, half this shit is so fucking useless for like any like modern context of like what you. It's like,
yes,
it's like I'm not. It's like I don't need to learn fucking Baroque like figured bass and fucking
probably not
12 tone fucking. It's like so much just like goofy stuff where it's like it's cool to learn like if you just like watched a YouTube video about it or whatever, but it's like you're gonna like go to school for like months or years and like pay for classes to learn all this stuff, and I'm like, just teach me like modern fucking like it's like I just went to like Sac City or whatever, and I'm like, can you teach me like some like modern jazz theory or like the shit that like all modern music is like based on, like it's like nobody, you know,
jazz history too, like learning about that stuff's pretty cool, I think. You know,
absolutely.
Not so sure about the Baroque history.
Yeah. It's interesting too, I'm sure, but you know, it's not exactly my
Baroque
jam,
boy, bro.
Yeah.
You don't need any of that.
I was gonna ask though too. I guess it's kind of related to what I was thinking about too. It's like, how do you come up with like new ideas? Because like your stuff is so like your art pieces are so kind of just like do you like write down ideas you have, or do you like see it? Like sometimes I see stuff like as I'm falling asleep, and I'll like try to draw that kind of stuff. Like I don't know.
I probably should write down more ideas, because I think that's definitely a way just to like collect little thoughts throughout the day if you can. Most of the time I'd say it's from books or comics, or just sitting down and kind of grabbing a few pieces of reference and then just seeing like what happens. I know that's kind of like corny sounding, but you just start out with some basic shapes, and there's certain like patterns and little motifs and stuff that I've just drawn a lot, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I think, because it's just like in music, like you want to go to that session where you're going to get pushed to go home and do better. Like it's the same thing with drawing. Like you can fall into like just drawing the same thing over and over, the same little pattern or whatever it is. So
like if like a traditional guy was like, man, I keep drawing fucking eagles, man.
Yeah, I mean, eagles are pretty sweet. You know,
but there's so many types of eagles,
so many different types, and so many different types of like traditional eagles that you could do too. But yeah, it's like all across the board. I don't know. I've been looking at a lot of comics lately. That's been a big draw for me. Just, I don't know. Not so much the storyline, but maybe just like the action and some of the detail and stuff. It's fun to just look at, even if you don't like, all right, I'm going to like try to use that in this tattoo. It's just, you kind of absorb whether you know it or not, you know, and I feel like that shows through if you're looking at it like regularly.
Yeah. I've definitely been doing something kind of similar, because I'm trying to make this like a fucking like horror comic where he's like a monster hunter and stuff and has a big ass sword, and so I've been like tracing old Conan comics to try to get the positioning right. And you're wearing the Death Dealer shirt too, so that's cool, man.
Dude.
The Death Dealer comics fucking rule. Frank Frazetta rules, you know, all that old fantasy. So
the weapons especially, it's cool like to look at real weapons, or even just like the way they were drawing weapons in perspective. And I still have a long way to go with all that stuff. Like I feel like I have a way that I draw that I enjoy, but I have a lot of like fundamentals I need to kind of build on. And I think comics and stuff like Frazetta or like the old like horror comics, or you can learn a lot just by looking at those, you know.
Well, there's just so many pieces. It's like each panel is like its own composition, you know. So there's so many different tricks going on at once in all these different comics, you know. And
not to mention the way just like the movie, like the Bambi movie, like how they were doing stuff by hand, like some of the techniques these guys did to like draw some of this stuff just in the pen and ink is wild. Using like razor blades to like get like a thin line of white in like a big pool of black to make it look like water or something like that. And it's just for this one panel on a page. I don't know. It's something to like aspire to in a way. Like I I don't really know how people like follow the comic book artist journey today, you know, like like or what the end goal is with it. Like earlier on, it just seemed like it was brutal. Like the amount of drawing that it requires, and I mean, and tattooing does too, but it's just cool. I respect the amount of work that goes into it, and like your stuff too. Like making a comic is more than just like, all right, I'm gonna draw like a skull, you know. Right? If you're thinking about the story, and if it's like a dynamic pose, and you know, making it look interesting. So it's really cool.
Yeah, man, dude. Yeah, learning about all like the different comic book artists and like all the shit they put up with, bro. Oh my god, dude, they got treated like shit, dude. They got treated like shit forever, bro. It's crazy.
That's the artist's way, you know, just life of pain.
Yeah,
definitely. What's been like one of your favorite pieces, I guess, too?
Favorite pieces, in just like art in general,
or like that you've made, or is there anything that you can think of that you've like really enjoyed making?
Since I've been tattooing, I would say, I mean, it's hard to just pick like that's my favorite tattoo, you know. There's like elements. I try my hardest on like all of them, you know. So I don't know if I would say there's like one tattoo that's like the one I'm the most proud of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But as far as like a piece goes, or like a series of pieces, I did do some stuff for an art show a little while ago that one of my friends out here, this guy Ashton, his name's Thirdsman on Instagram. He does a bunch of cool art too. And he helped me do these like wood cutouts of all these little shapes, like monster heads, and then kind of painted each one with like house paint and Posca markers.
Oh, cool.
That's probably like one of the more like proud art things I've worked on. Yeah.
Here, go to this one here real quick.
I think I have some pictures of them on there, but yeah.
So this is like here, pull it up, CeeLo. This is like your this is like some other just custom stuff that you've done too. Like what's it like? So you use like paint on all these too, or?
Yeah. So this,
okay, so this is more like physical, like.
Yeah, these are. I haven't really been making these as much, but it starts out with just spray paint, and I was a while ago just having fun like finding just weird little like bowls and objects wherever at the thrift store, or just wherever you can find them, and do like a spray paint background, and then do the Posca markers on top. And it's like a pretty fun fairly quick process too, where you can just draw little like creatures and stuff, and the background I feel like makes it just has a trippy look to it that I enjoy.
That's cool on the skateboard.
Yeah, the trucks were fun.
Yeah, that's tight.
One of those I did like a giveaway, and the kid like put them on the board. And then the first set I sold at a skate shop, and I think there was some dude that came in from like out of town and bought them, so that was kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
It's just cool to see people like get stoked on it, you know.
Yeah, nice. That's a really cool combination of the spray paint, like the kind of speckly sort of like look with like the super clean lines just, on top.
It's messy, and it's like different mediums, you know. Like I definitely I still want to try to, I'm sure you can relate, like doing digital art, you want to break away and try different, and spray paint's so messy, and like I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's just, you're not sitting there like focused in with a pen like trying to, you know, kind of for the illustration you are, but for the spray paint it's just pretty fun and like loose, and you're just breathing in like chemicals and stuff.
You know?
Hell yeah. So. Yeah, no, I definitely want to experiment more, because I have a bunch of canvases. I'm just like, I just don't have any paint right now. So I want to fucking start doing more physical pieces, bro.
Well, dude, it's like, it's the same with music too. We're like doing like physical stuff, or like when you're just like recording like a live recording of like a whole band all at once, and you're like, all right, we're not like doing overdubs, we're not punching in, we're not doing any of this shit. Fucking just get it right, creating. And like it is what it is. Like you can't like go back and like fix it after. It's like, you know, maybe you can tweak little things here or there, but it's like, because like with music, I would always, you know, like just growing up, like I just have like a laptop and I have Ableton running or whatever, and I'll just be like, you know, trying to like record like a guitar part or like a keyboard thing, and just be like, I fucked it up again, just like do it like 400 times, where it's just like, if you don't have like having too many options or too many like ways to fix things is like almost like a horrible, like it can like lead you down like such a bad road with art too,
especially if you're
like,
trying to make something, you know,
like, and finish something. That's what it's all about. Like I feel like it's so hard for arts types and just like, or anybody, like even whenever, what it's like people, you know, making fucking.
I think being bad at art helped me fucking not have that fear as much of like being like, no, it needs to be like really good, because like I was told my whole life, I was like, you fucking suck at drawing, and then I was like, when I started drawing, I was like, people were still like, yeah, bro, you suck. So I wasn't like, I was more like, I feel like it's good enough, I'll just put it out there because I'm ready to move on to something else. Because sometimes I'm just like, this shit's just taking up too much of my time. This is supposed to be like a throwaway piece. I'm just gonna put some finishing touches, get that out there, and then maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. Maybe I'll move on to something else, you know?
It's cool to just have, like, I know it's hard in the moment to just be like, oh, I don't care, like, what anybody thinks, you know? But just, like, even if you think it does suck or something, like, oh, like, just have fun. Like, make something that sucks just because or whatever.
Yeah, I say get...
Art should be fun, whether you're making music or whatever it is, like, instead of thinking about, like, how it will be. It's hard to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But just trying to stay, like, kind of loose and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like not like get fixated on like, oh, it could be perfect, when it's like, it's good. Like as long as you're cool with it, you know, like feeling comfortable with it, even if it's not perfect, you know, too. It's like, but that's still all right, you know.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard to do that, especially with, you know, social media and everything. Like to keep that kind of part in your mind like separate, because you're, I don't know,
comparing yourself to others and like just, you know, or
whatever.
Like, being like, oh, this is going on the internet's permanent or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like even with guitar stuff where it's like, I know I'll be playing guitar and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good, and then like, but then you just like scroll and you just see like some like 11-year-old kid in the Philippines just like playing some fucking like just super nasty, just like crushing like a Van Halen still, and you're like, oh, fuck,
which is still cool, you know? But
like,
at the same time, it's like that's his experience with it, and like, but he can't do what you're doing,
right?
Even though he's super technical or whatever. I don't know.
It's like
everybody has their own spin on it.
It's like, this kid's never played a wedding gig.
That's right. Yeah, never drank Code Red and played a wedding.
You don't have a podcast studio?
Yeah, you don't have a podcast studio.
Yeah, no, I feel that sometimes too, where I'm like, oh, I get to see someone like, you know, like somebody I knew, and it's like they got to like go all in on like one thing. It's like, bro, you like went to college and shit. Don't compare yourself to people, you know. It's like, you know,
and you never know where people are at either, you know, like especially with any kind of social media, like it's not real, you know. It's just something that looks really great they might not be doing so great, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I mean, I think it's like I think a lot of people are good about they're good about having boundaries where it's like, yeah, you're only seeing this, and then it's like you're not seeing the rest of what's going on with like my life. You know, I try not to you know, put too much of my stuff out there.
With social media too, it's like there's like an inverse thing that happens where it's like there's people that are like really obsessed with like putting everything on social media and having their social media appearance be perfect. Yeah. But then it's like shit is like crashing down around them in real life. Oh, dude. And then there's like the opposite where it's like people are just like, there's people that are like really about their shit and just like, oh, I'm so focused on like worrying on about my actual like career and like, you know, just doing my art or doing my whatever. And then it's like not posting at all on social media, where it's just like some people, it's like, oh, you never heard of this guy? It's like, no, he doesn't have any followers. It's like, bro, it's like he's got
I don't know how
like,
much that even matters, you know, because they might, it's like, how many of your followers are that you have like a ton or like 10? Like, do you know all of them, you know? I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, they say it's better to have like 1,000 people that actually fuck with you than like 1 million people who like barely know who you are and don't actually even fuck with you, you know? Like,
I feel like, if most of the people knew who the people really were, maybe sometimes they'd be stoked, and then sometimes be like, I don't want to follow this person anymore. That's a little bit of a dark turn.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
I don't know. It's
there's the flip side of that coin.
Yeah.
Well, and now with like everything with like digital art too, there's just such a and like AI, all this kind of stuff. It's like
it's trippy.
People that are doing like graphic design or like digital art that's supposed to be used in a digital context, like that stuff is like quickly like someone's just like, well, why do I want to pay you to make a poster when so I could just get an AI to do it that like kind of steals like 500 other people's art, you know, and like combines it into this like generic amalgamation of whatever, but it's like it gets the job done, it gets the point across. And the same thing with music too. It's like people are making like fake Drake songs
saw fucking
or like
earlier when we were just testing the audio, there was an ad for some shit and it was like the bro was fake, like the bro was clearly like like his mouth was moving all fucking weird and stuff.
It was a fake person.
Yeah, it was like a fake. It was like an ad. They were just like reading the script, but like the mouth was just like like it was just weird. It's like right here you could like it was like only moving right here, like not in the rest of his cheeks or his eyes or nothing. Like it was just like his mouth was moving. It was weird.
It's like the pirate guy from like the SpongeBob theme song. Where he's like, "Are you ready, kids?" And it's like just his mouth is moving, whatever.
It'd be kind of cool to be able to like take a few little characters and have them talk to me every day like that. Like I wouldn't mind,
Right.
you know, but
Well, it's
the
like-
AI stuff is pretty wild for art.
But
sure.
at least for like tattoos or like physical media, it's like, well, we're still pretty far away from like
Tattoo robots.
I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure
I
it could
don't
be.
know.
I'm sure someone could make it, but
I
it's
think
like
I saw
there's a level of nuance to it.
definitely. I mean, not to mention like if you're gonna go sit down like with a robot, maybe they'll do it quicker or whatever. But just you and a robot in
Right.
like a white room. Or
Yeah, you're not
something, I don't know.
vibing.
Probably not.
You're not
Or maybe
hanging
it will
out.
be if it's like a hologram or whatever,
Right.
and it could be like, you know, I don't know, anything you want, and they're like talking to you, like it still would be. That might be kind of cool.
They're like, "How was your day?"
yeah, but
That's
I-
a sick tiger piece.
yeah.
That's
Look how sick this one was that I just did.
Just like sticker blast the robot, bro. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some kind of, I think it was that Shark Tank show, and they had a robot tattoo machine where they're like having all these pre-made designs. You get to pick one, and it does a tattoo. But I didn't know how, like, if it was in there all the way or if it was like a good or a bad tattoo.
yeah.
But it definitely opens up like a lot of, it'll be interesting in the future, like where are they pulling the designs from? Like, does it even matter? Like,
Right.
everybody's
like
going to be
stealing
stealing
people's
shit.
flash and like,
you know, and people steal shit. I mean, I steal shit a lot too. Or I try not to steal it, but just pull inspiration from it, you know.
Mhm.
But if it's just like endless and a robot's doing it and there's no, they were talking about like they're going to pay licensing to some of the artists they
Right.
featured, but probably not. I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah.
will. It's hard to believe that they would.
Because I know, like, with some tattoo artists, they're, like, particular about, like, oh, no, like, if I do this, like, piece on one person, like, I'm not going to just, like, copy-paste it, put it on, like, somebody else or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
like, you know, or they'll have, like, a flash, but then it's, like, once they do it once or, like, a few times,
Few
they're kind
times
of, like...
they'll change it a little
Right.
bit or something, which seems fine, you know.
Right.
But I think it's cool that, I mean, as long as it's not like every day you're doing like the same one, and then all of
Right.
a sudden there's like 50 people and they all have like the same bird
Right.
or whatever.
Right. Well,
But
and now with, like, Instagram and stuff... Or like, you know, people go on just Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and then like they're like skull dagger tattoo, and they just go on Google and like
Yeah.
find like some shit from like the first page, and then people are just coming into tattoo shops, be like, I want this one. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's just like someone's like Pinterest or whatever, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know what you can do to fight that, because like that's how you find stuff now, especially if you're just starting out looking at stuff.
Right.
Like you're just going to Google and looking, and if you see a skull that looks cool, like it's probably pretty cool. But you haven't like looked around. Maybe you just don't know where to look or something.
no one's
I don't
going
know.
on
It's-
page 50
No.
of Google search
49
results.
only. It stops at
Yeah,
49.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like Pornhub too, where it's just like, it's all the stuff in the first page. It's like everybody's
Homepage.
being into the same shit.
Oh,
bro.
yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe they'll get
Oh, yeah.
some tattoo inspiration from there too.
Yeah, that's true.
Different, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
Back to my dad, you know. My dad's got
Oh yeah.
some good stuff.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Ooh, conspiracy theory? Okay.
Now, favorite doesn't have to mean that you believe it.
Does it have to be like a certain genre of conspiracy theory?
Whatever
any,
comes to mind.
Any level from local to interdimensional,
Well,
serious
it's-
or goofy.
it's pretty vague, I would say. And I don't know if it's as much a conspiracy. Maybe it's not like just do aliens exist?
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know. Or are there aliens here right now? Or do we have some of their spaceships or something like that? Maybe, you know, that's pretty interesting to think
Yeah.
about. Like if the government's pretty powerful, you know, they could probably hide that. But I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories, and I think some of them are pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
But I haven't spent a lot of time like
Digging
this
in.
one.
Yeah.
And no offense if you guys do that.
Oh,
no,
no,
you're
no.
good. You're
But,
good.
just aliens. I think aliens are cool, and my brother and I talk about it a lot. And I don't know, like, have you ever listened to that show Coast to Coast AM?
Classic, yeah.
Art Bell.
Art
or
Bell and
whatever.
George Norrie.
Yeah.
Love
I
that
used to
shit.
work at Dutch Bros a while
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
and I was like 20 years old, and I worked the night shift. And driving back from that, it would be like 11:30, and that's when Coast to Coast came on. So
Yeah.
every episode was about like a different species of aliens or some like encounter or something.
I feel like that's what got a lot of people into that.
Yeah.
That fool's the OG with it. They used to
Yeah.
talk about crazy shit because they had this one dude calling in one time, and he's like, they're putting a translucent film on the milk cartons, and it scans your fingerprints, and it beams your fingerprints back to the government so they can keep track of all of your purchases. It's like they could just do that with your fucking bank, bro. Like,
There's one. Maybe you guys do you know a lot of the alien conspiracies?
I know, like
A little bit.
some like I know like the basic level of some of them.
I think there's one about there being like aliens in the moon or like on the other side of the moon.
The dark side of the moon. Yeah.
You know,
there's like
that one seems cool.
Yeah, there's like moon-based theories, and then there's like the kind of like inner Earth alien theories where they're like subterranean and like there's like a whole like ecosystem that's underneath the Earth. Basically, that's like another whole thing.
Or like the Greys or whatever. There's like different styles of them. So yeah, I guess I don't have a specific alien conspiracy theory, but just
no, we're into all that. It's very on brand for us.
I remember one of my good buddies growing up. He's like my brother, and we had a party in my backyard one time in high school, and he was like all about aliens at the time. And at the time, like I was into it, but I wasn't sure. And we just got in like a huge argument at the party about like aliens don't exist, dude. And he was like, yeah, they do, man. I was like, dude, no, they don't exist, dude. And that's like, it was just the same conversation back and forth. Like, yes, they do. No, they don't.
Right.
And then we like wrestled each other, and then I believed him afterwards. So that's all I got.
He got you, dude.
Yeah, he got me.
I mean it, man.
I didn't even have a reason to think they didn't exist, but I don't know.
You're just standing on business, bro, and I appreciate that. Respect that.
Oh yeah,
that's tight.
What about you guys? I mean, because I'd like to learn a new one. You know,
we love a lot of alien stuff. Well, yeah, even just like the moon itself is like weird. Like the
something I've been interested by too is how like the Appalachian Mountains are like one of the oldest like formations on Earth. Like period, they're like older than like there's like oceans that weren't around. Like it's been the same for the longest basically out of like any like mountain range or anything, like through all the geotide and shift and continental drift and all that. Appalachian Mountains are like, they're supposed to be hella spooky too and hella creepy. Yeah, like
that sounds fun.
That's kind of like by Virginia, and they kind of joke around
hillbillies.
Yeah, where all the hillbillies are, but that's like what H.P. Lovecraft was writing about and stuff too. He's like the Appalachian Mountains, they're scary as fuck, and there's secrets in there, and people do like weird like magic and shit in the woods.
That guy's books are scary as fuck. Those are the covers on those. That was early art stuff too. Like looking at those, my brother is like a big reader, and he'd always have the fucking giant, and just being like 10 and looking at the, it's like a Grim Reaper like stabbing a baby upside down on like a staircase or whatever.
Yeah. No, old school horror covers are super fucking sick. You know what we're dope too is the Goosebumps covers, bro.
Like Cheese and Die, dude.
Yeah, those shits are so hard, bro. Like, cause R.L. Stine for those, he was hella inspired by like the Tales from the Crypt. He's like he was basically trying to make like that style of story, but for kids, with Goosebumps. So
yeah.
I
think I heard somewhere that R.L. Stine, like he did comics too, right? Or
He's done a few, yeah.
Because it was some podcast, and they were talking about how like when he turned over to making that, like he did really well. It's cool. It's like not very common for that group of artists. So yeah. No, R.L. Stine's done some cool stuff. It's funny, he got in trouble for using Ghost Riders, but it's like, bro, it's Goosebumps. Of course he's gonna use Ghost Riders. Oh man. Dang.
Yeah. Fuck, what was I gonna say about conspiracies? I mean, because it's like there's like two, like there's different types of conspiracies, because some of them are like so serious and like fucked up, where it's just like, oh god, like it's like there's an evil cabal of like people running all this shit, like where it's like political conspiracies, and then there's like the fun ones like aliens. So I feel like aliens is like a good entry point, you know what I mean? Because it's just like it matters to everyone, but also like doesn't affect anyone in particular that much. It's not like, but like it's
people can latch on to a little bit easier than like maybe a politically inspired one.
Yeah, or like a real historical one where it's like so real that it's depressing. Like all the Iran Contra stuff, or like the Hershey's, bro. How like Hershey's, or was it Hershey's? No, what was
Nestle?
it? Nestle. Nestle fucking just
what
like
Nestle do?
Nestle just like destroyed.
What didn't they do?
Yeah, right. What didn't they do? They just like destroyed a whole a whole country by like getting them hooked on like baby formula, basically, and then like upping the price of it to where they couldn't afford it, and then because they're already feeding the babies baby formula, they couldn't make like milk anymore.
No.
This is in like the 60s, the 70s or something, right?
Yeah, they were just like they were marketing, because like they would take like, they're like, oh, we have this like new baby formula, and they would market it to like more like third world countries that like, it's like, oh well, it's like your natural breast milk, you're all malnourished, don't give baby that.
Jeez.
You don't have enough whatever, you don't have the supplements, bro, you don't have what plants crave or whatever. You don't have the electrolytes in your tits or whatever, so you gotta fucking
that's terrifying.
you gotta get on this Nestle breast milk stuff.
And then they just transition into chocolate like randomly. They're like, and now we make chocolate.
I think they make all sorts of shit.
I think they were doing both back then too.
Okay.
But yeah, they were like, so then they got everybody hooked on it, and then they were like, ooh, we're gonna up the price here, and nobody could afford it, and it's like they also didn't have like clean water to use it to make, you know.
I should have never eaten any of those.
Well, because like,
and it's like, see, that's the thing. There's ones like that where you're like, oh,
this
God,
is probably
that's
Nestle
fucked up.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
probably actually.
Well, because that probably is Nestle, but like, they're like pretty much like the largest like food corporation in the world at this point. Like, it's like, you know, you ever see that graph where it's just
And
like
there's like the Chiquita banana stuff too, where it's like like the fucking over the banana company basically started like a political coup and shit, and
South America.
Yeah, in South America, and like hella people died.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, all the corporations probably have something a little dark.
See, that's its own. Yeah, that's like its own genre, like corporate conspiracy.
Yeah. What did like for like music stuff, like what did the Gibson guy do? You know, let's get like a guitar one. Going. Is there like a guitar
conspiracy?
One?
Guitar companies.
Maybe someone stole a design, but like,
don't you know that Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil?
There's like lots of musician conspiracy theories. I think one of the big things with musicians is like it still happens today where it's like, it's less so the mob now. It's more just like giant like mega corporations. But like back in the day, like the mob like fucking ran, you know, so many like record labels and stuff. I mean, you watch like Sopranos episodes about it or whatever, where it's like, you know, they would have, they would, like, a lot of people think that Jimi Hendrix was like his agents or like the people like he was like working with, like a lot of them were like mob affiliated. And so like back in the back then, it's like, you know, because they would be running the clubs and they would be running the, you know, like you know, getting people on tour and like all this different stuff and like the record companies, and there's a certain point where like Jimi Hendrix and like a lot of these other artists in the 60s, especially like during like the Vietnam era, were like becoming extremely popular, but they were also like very like kind of controversial or like subversive, like not like going with like the mainstream. Like they were like super talented and like blowing up and popular, but it's like, oh, these guys are like gonna go off the rails, like they're gonna, you know, say some shit that's like, you know, not conducive to making money, basically. And like they're too obsessed, you know, they had their artistic direction. And then like with Hendrix, people say that like, you know, his fucking manager or like someone working with his manager, like basically like, you know, he might have already been like fucked up just in his hotel room, just getting fucking hammered or whatever, and they like shoved a bunch of fucking like sleeping pills down his throat or whatever to make it look like he like, you know,
like an accident
or like an accidental overdose.
I didn't know the mob side of that,
because that's like cool. and it's like it might not necessarily all be like, you know, like the fucking Godfather ass mob, but like
somebody pulling some
the
strings.
People like they were willing to do very criminal shit because the way they looked at it is like, this guy's worth more to you dead than alive. Yeah. Because like
you still own his like music rights and shit. Yeah.
If you just like,
so that's why like all the classic rock is like better, is because they had like a literal like mob like unit in the studio. Like, well, that's
fucking kill you. Yeah, no, like a lot of it is with that. Well, and it's
like Frankie Valli, who's like still having to perform at like 90 years old and shit, bro, because he owes the mob money.
A lot of people, a lot of people. It's like because the mob would also run a lot of the casinos. Yeah, and they would run. I mean, shit in Vegas. I mean, like
Bruno Mars is in trouble right now too because he owes them hella money, so he's just on retainer doing performances for them.
Yeah, bummer. Yeah, that's how they get you. They get you to do all these fucking sick casino shows, and they're like, yeah, we'll pay you in cash or we can pay you in chips. And they fucking just, you know,
musicians got it rough, man.
Yeah, well, and it's like even like back in the day with like, you know, Sinatra and like Elvis and like all that stuff, it's like there, you know, it was like a lot of mob connections, and then there's a lot of military connections with a lot of artists, especially from that time too. You know about Jim Morrison from the Doors.
Well, I know who he is, but not like, the connection.
But like, do you know who his dad it was?
No.
His dad was a fucking naval admiral who basically like is one of the reasons that like we got like into the fucking Vietnam War.
What?
Like Jim Morrison's dad. Hold on, let me pull it up. Fucking this shit's wild, bro.
This shit's hella crazy. We did a whole episode about MK Ultra, and it's like there was just so many like
it's the ultimate rebellion against his dad.
Dude, yeah, George Stephen Morrison was Jim Morrison's dad. And let's see. Yeah, bro. He this is him right here. That's Jim Morrison's dad.
That guy does not look like he likes rock and roll.
No. And so, damn, he lived until 2008. Let's see, what was it?
Jim Morrison got off then, bro, by the feds.
What?
So, Morrison took command of the Essex class aircraft carrier. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. Yeah, his first act as the new skipper was to announce the death of President John F. Kennedy. The 5th Carrier Division was transferred. Blah 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 blah. In August of 1964, Morrison was in command of local American forces from his flagship U.S. Bonhomme Richard, making him directly in chain of command during the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Wow,
which you know about that? Like the Gulf of Tonkin incident was basically like, it was kind of like a false flag type of operation where, like, how do I say it? Like they basically this like U.S. warship got bombed and they blamed it on Vietnam, like as a pretense to like start the war.
Damn.
So it's like that was Jim Morrison's dad. Like, well, you know, while his son was like out making all this like hippie, like subversive, you know, poetic stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like maybe Jim Morrison didn't have anything to do.
Does that mean we're gonna get like a
military?
good musician like out of Trump? Is his kid
Dude,
gonna
maybe
be, like,
Barron.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Barron has to start a sick band.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking.
It's not gonna happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, but no, you know, I was just thinking about Barron.
Yeah.
I know what kind of music would he play? Bro would play like the most pop bullshit,
Probably
bro. Like,
Oh,
Well-
man. Yeah. It's not good, whatever it is.
But it's like, you know, it's like, so was Jim Morrison, was he privy to any of this stuff? Like, did he realize
Maybe.
like what his dad was doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, was he a CIA asset or something like that? Or was he just like a hippie and he like hated his dad who was like a military guy and he's like just went against that?
if his dad's a military guy, he probably had money too, you know.
Totally.
And it's like,
And he probably didn't have to go because of the, you know,
Yeah.
he got
Does
out
it
of
say anything about his, like, it's all the military stuff, and at the end on the page it's like, and his son was Jim Morrison? Or does it not say that?
I think it says it in
Connection.
there a few times.
I mean, yeah, it just says, you know, their son Jim Morrison.
Leave it in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make.
There's like a lot of those though, where it's like a lot of people have like dads and uncles that are like
Yeah.
high-ranking
Totally.
military
Yeah.
officials and shit.
Grown- Or go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, growing up, like, my dad is like super into music, mostly like classic rock and like a lot of good stuff, but just wanted to rebel against him. Like, I found punk and I was like, I hate like everything that you like, you know.
Right.
But I wish I would have given it more of a shot, because kind of wondering like what other connection you guys are talking about. I would have spent some time like digging into this stuff, you know.
Dude, well, because there's a book about this. What's it called? I think it's Strange Scene. Yeah, Strange Scenes, or no, Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Laurel Canyon. So this is like all about like all these different musicians from that time, like that were kind of like.
It's like the Eagles and shit, right?
Yeah, there was like a
I
lot
could
of
see
like.
that. Although one of those dudes in the Eagles, I forget his fucking name, but he seems all right to me. The like crazy dude who did all the leads.
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
Is he good?
I don't know that much
Oh,
about
okay.
him, but
There's a documentary. He seems like a pretty wild character.
I saw the
Got
Eagles when
passion.
I was like 10. I saw the Eagles live in concert.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sorry,
First
I didn't-
concert?
It was my second concert or so, because the first one was Santana.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, which also Santana's my middle name, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
You lucked out.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm lucky for sure in that regard.
Santana's got the album cover. That lion is sick. I forget the name of it, but that was done by, I forget the name, but one of like the older psychedelic artists.
Yeah. Yeah, I love old Santana, the videos where he's like playing his fucking at Woodstock and shit. Like,
Yeah.
Well, there's a
This
lot.
bro is a Santana hater.
No, I'm not a Santana hater, dude. I respect what he does.
I don't really know a lot about him. You know, it was paired in with all my dad was into it. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
For some reason, have you ever listened to Reverend Horton Heat?
Oh, yeah.
He would have like a bunch of classic rock. My dad, and sometimes there'd be like that in there for something like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
like, just more like rockabilly, kind of faster and stuff.
Totally.
you know,
I seen
but-
him one time, bro, and it was like one of the craziest shows I ever been to. Because I seen him once, and it was like, you know, the crowd was all right, but like another night, like, everybody was just ready to fuck shit up, bro.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole crowd was like exploding and shit, and like
Yeah.
this lady, like this kid, like flew into this chick, so she started like beating him up, and then like security like grabbed this big fat white rockabilly chick out like by the neck and shit.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, son.
Never seen him, but it seems like it'd be pretty intense.
Yeah,
in a cool way.
It was definitely a psychobilly freak out.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, I want to dig more into like that's like one of the conspiracy things I want to dig more into is the like all of the stuff like going on like in the 60s, because a lot of people say that like Jerry Garcia was like, or like and like the Grateful Dead were like kind of like a CIA asset too, or whatever. Or like, well, dude, you can
even
also
just that shit we were talking about where it's like Timothy Leary studied under the fool who created the Unabomber, basically.
Wow. Oh shit.
I know what happened there.
Volume's kind of dying. I'm about to like kick
you kicking shit down there?
Hold on. No, well, we're good. All right, sorry.
It's all good. I haven't had one of these in a while. I keep thinking it's from the increase in code red.
There we go.
To feel like swollen.
Shocking the system.
Yeah, but I don't know. Grateful Dead. Are you guys fans of them? Or?
I like when they're on. I just don't know shit about them.
They have like a ton of material, but I've never listened to like any of it. You know,
they have
but it
so
seems
much, dude.
Some of it, I can't like. I don't know if my attention span for sure is not good enough for it. Like the musicianship again was like it seemed incredible, and they were like pushing boundaries. I've heard with like instruments too, like they were developing like different kinds of instruments.
They were pushing boundaries. Like I feel like they're a very important band.
Yeah,
it's not like my favorite. It's not like my exact jam, but like what they created is like
kind of that wave.
It's like that wave of like jam music, and like
that's cool.
Like, and they also like revolutionized. Because they didn't really go through record labels, like they kind of did everything themselves, and they also like were kind of at the forefront of like like just the type of gear that they would use for live shows and like doing really big like arena shows and like giant shows, like the amplification and like mixing and like all this stuff to like make that a reality. Like,
didn't they kind of help like pioneer?
They were kind of they were like on the forefront
size of a concert.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty cool.
With like like so they were very important with that. But
right on.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot of stuff with like the hippie movement. I think back then, like a lot of people seem to think that the hippie movement was like infiltrated. And like any movement, right, where it's like anything that's like grassroots and like kind of gets people away from like the status quo. Yeah. Like eventually
that was like literally when COINTELPRO was like made, though. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no way it wasn't, you know, like it's, you know.
Because like people were like, okay, like, all right, you know, this is like all about the free love and about all this different kind of stuff. And then it started getting like kind of infiltrated with like the Charlie Manson stuff, and like people are like dying, overdosing on drugs, and like all these people are like crashing out off of psychedelics, and like, you know, people getting shot, and it's like a whole thing to kind of like derail it from like, because like you know, it came like with like a lot of anti-war sentiment and a lot of anti-government sentiment, and people like, we're gonna get out of the big cities and fucking go move to like Humboldt or whatever, or like, you know, that's like where all those hippie went. Yeah, right. And so I think a lot of that got infiltrated, where it's like, and it's the same thing with rap music too, where it's like, if you think about like early, like that, like late 70s, early 80s, like hip hop, like it's all about like, I don't do crack, I don't do like, where it's like
manufactured.
It's like, it's like, but then like whatever it was with like gangster rap just like got pushed so hard. It's like, it's not necessarily that like like all these artists are like, oh, they're plants or whatever, but it's like, if you're the record labels and you have all these like ties to like, you know, corporations and the government and stuff, it's like you're deciding like what to push through onto the airwaves, especially when radio was the biggest thing. It's like you're deciding who becomes a huge success and who kind of gets pushed to the background, you know, like.
So who's like, or is it every band now? Like, what's the band now that's like infiltrating? Is it every band?
I don't know.
Is it just one band? Or
what
band do you think it is?
I'd say when certain people like explode hella crazy, it's like not necessarily that they're like, say like Lil Nas X, I think was one where it was like they pushed like whoever was behind bro pushed him hella hard and was trying to be like, we're gonna push him to like a certain demographic, because like he like wasn't really like, you know, it's kind of just a goofy guy, and then like bro like came out, and then they're like, no, not only are you just like gay, like you're like super gay now, and they like all of his music videos and like everything he was doing was like,
you're like gonna be giving the devil a lap dance, and you're gonna be doing all this stuff where it's like,
did not hear about any of this.
Oh really?
This was years ago.
Yeah, you remember like Old Town Road or whatever that song.
Yeah,
take my horse to whatever, and it's like that song, you know, like people, I think like people didn't really catch it at first that it's like, yo, this has definitely got some like gay subtext or whatever. But then like there's videos of like Lil Nas X, you know, he'd be going to like middle schools and like playing that song, and it would be like a bunch of like 12-year-olds just losing their fucking shit to this song or whatever.
So he got like picked up,
and then he blew up, and then he like did like another version of that song with like Billy Ray Cyrus or whatever, and then just like it just got like extremely like very explicit, and like it got like so explicit, and like
like his whole just like image like changed like once because bro came out, he like just on Twitter one day, he's like, oh yeah, like I'm gay, just so you guys know, and then like he got hella shit for it, but then like immediately after it was just like, I'm not just gay, like I'm like the gayest artist.
And you think that was like artificial or something like that? Like
it was at least like encouraged, okay, like, you know, I don't know.
Well,
like,
now
because it's hella over the top, you know what I mean? Like it was just like a very, I mean, not that I don't care. I still like enjoy whatever, you know, like I don't think he's like the worst artist ever or anything, but
that made me think of, I do have a conspiracy theory now. Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
You're good. This is why you should only drink Code Red.
Yeah. This
dude,
goes down way smoother
the
than
water hurts, bro. All right, what do you got? What do you got for us?
Well, I know it might not be a popular opinion, but I think for sure Creed.
You think they were
definitely designed to do something, you know. And no offense if you know, because I know they're having a comeback.
They are having a big comeback.
But when I was growing up, they first came out.
Yeah.
And I could tell, you know, even when I was like in 4th grade, that something was not right, you know.
Yeah.
But I just don't like Creed. But I just wanted to say that.
You ever hear like Pepper and Creed had beef, like the band, the reggae band Pepper? Like they like.
It's got to be Godsmack and Creed. It can't be. They got to have like, you know, similar.
All right. What's doper though? And I already know how I feel about this, but Nickelback or Creed?
What's doper?
Yeah. Who you fucking with more?
It's got to be Nickelback.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Look at this
photograph. Dude, come on. If you have to choose.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to choose, it's them. But then after you choose them, they have to probably go away too.
Well,
you know?
Well, but it's interesting. It's interesting with both of those bands how like people will discover an artist and be like, this is so fucking awesome, until like someone decides for them that you don't like this anymore, where it's just like everyone fucking loved Creed.
I'm sorry, I never fucking liked Creed even back then.
I never saw it. I never saw that way, but Trucky's small.
Well, yeah.
Some people like the Evanescence,
right?
You know?
But it's like, and the same thing with Nickelback, where it's just like a lot of people fucking loved Nickelback.
Yeah, true.
And then it's just like but it's like then you just hear something, you hear like an SNL bit or something where they just make fun of Nickelback, or you hear like a late night talk show and they're just like, oh, Nickelback, haha.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's just like at some point there's like
they're encouraging
the switch that flips where you're like, nope, Nickelback sucks now.
Have you guys ever seen Creed Shreds?
No.
Oh, I love those Shreds videos.
You know, they have a good one.
You know those videos where it's like they take out the audio from like the actual, like it's like a live music, but then all you just hear is like people's like sneakers shuffling around. They're like, bing, 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 like just like super
they'll
shitty.
Do it
like,
where it's like near, where it's like actual distance or whatever, like in the music video.
Yeah, there's that too. But
they did one for Kiss.
Yeah,
they do a Mars Volta one that's fucking hilarious.
That sounds fire.
I love the Shreds videos. Yeah, I forget who makes those, but those are super funny.
Sorry to derail into the Creed hatred.
No,
you're good.
No, I mean,
Creed, bro.
Yeah.
I hate Creed. I was saying too that Creed
could take them or leave them.
Creed takes themselves like so much more serious than Nickelback too. Like I don't know, Nickelback's pretty like scum, like intentionally.
For sure.
Like, you know, like a lot of their songs.
Too much righteousness with Creed.
Well, because I feel like Creed was like sort of co-opting grunge. To like,
it's not okay
because
they were like late to the party. It was
like, well, because it was like post, like that's what like Creed and Nickelback and like Three Doors Down and like all those kind of bands.
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of them are considered like post grunge or whatever. Where it's just like they're taking a lot of the good stuff that people liked about grunge, but then just kind of like amalgamating it into this like super radio friendly, like very derivative style. And I think that's what a lot of people didn't like about Creed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think I even ever had the opportunity to like give them a chance. Not that I would have, you know.
Because like things just become uncool, or they just become unhip after like a few years. But then when you go to like,
well, I think new metal was like more innovative. Like they're trying shit out.
100%. Like my older brother growing up, he's like super into music too.
Right.
And he was obsessed with like new metal, Metallica, and like all that shit when it was coming out.
Right.
I was listening to punk, so between the two of us, there was like no room for Creed in between. You know.
Right.
Yeah,
so
dude.
If we
It's
weren't
like,
into that stuff.
well, because
then
Creed
maybe-
did not.
Creed sucks energy wise when you're listening to that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Well, but
Creed,
I mean,
just sucks the energy out of the room.
But I
Like,
could argue
sucks
that
out of your soul, man.
But I could argue that, you know, new metal was just a fucking industry fucking creation, dude. Where they're
Probably.
we have to make like hip hop stuff acceptable for white people, and we have to kind of like try to bridge this fucking divide or what. It's like, in a way, it was like bridging a thing, but in another way, it was like kind of bastardizing both metal and rap.
Definitely.
Where it's like a lot of it's like, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I was like, there's some stuff that like holds up well.
yeah.
Like I think like System of a Down holds
Fuck
up
yeah.
well, and it's
Dude.
like I think like some of Linkin Park stuff holds
think-
up well. Like
I think here's the thing: is that some of everybody holds up.
But-
Well, like some Limp Bizkit, some Linkin
But, like,
Park, some Korn.
Kid Rock though, or it's
Kid
just, like-
Rock, bro.
Well,
come-
that's what it always is. Where it's like, but now it's like now you have like the opposite too, where it's like it's not rock bands adding rap stuff. It's like you have like guys like where it's like, all right, like Post Malone when he first started, he was like doing all like rap stuff because that was what was popular, and that got him his audience. And then a moment, then they're just like, all right, I'm doing country now.
Yeah.
The same thing with like Jelly Roll or like a lot of these artists. But like back then, it was like they would like the record labels were like forcing these rock bands and like metal bands to like put rap stuff in it.
Yeah, the chick from Evanescence was like, I didn't want to put rap in Bring Me to Life. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's not even like rapping really. Like,
No.
bro's just singing, like the guy part or whatever. She's
Oh,
like,
man.
Well, there's
she-
like the little verse though. He has like a little verse. Doesn't
yeah,
he?
but I would barely even consider that like rapping, bro. It just sounds like he's singing still, you know?
I have a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're gonna
Or
go.
it's just like, where it's like that's not necessarily the artistic direction they wanted to go, but they're like, no, you have to do this. Where it's like they made like, it's like I don't know, maybe the Aerosmith Run DMC thing, you know,
Yeah.
it was like that was like kind of the first thing where it was sort of like a union of those two worlds. But it's like maybe that was a genuine thing, or maybe it was just like a record label being like, what if we fucking
Make
you
more
know,
money.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, it's a bummer. you know?
and but you know, some of it's legit.
Yeah.
But
Well, I do have an Evanescence story too, but we can. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to bounce onto.
I want to hear.
Yeah, what's up with the
stuff.
Evanescence story?
For some reason, in high school, my friends and I and the crew, you know, we thought it'd be a good idea to convince one of our friends in the group that Evanescence died because he was really serious about this girlfriend that he had in high school there, and they're going to go to a concert together. And we were like, all right, because he took like everything really seriously, and we just came together at lunch. We're like, all of us are going to tell Josh that Evanescence died. And then we told him, and everybody stuck to the story, and he just fucking lost it for like the whole day. He like had a meltdown and was like he was wanting to contact his girlfriend and everything, but then we told him we were lying. Yeah.
Well,
I just love that you're saying like Evanescence like it's one person,
Yeah,
like
yeah, the whole band just
died in a fucking fiery plane crash.
Something.
I
Yeah.
know, where it's just like, well, fucking, yeah. Well, it's like, what's even the singer's name of Evanescence? I don't know.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But,
yep.
Yeah,
That's
just
so
the
fucking
whole
funny
band.
to me.
Well, and it's just like when you don't have like a smartphone either, you just
It's
can't.
like, dude,
you can't
I
look
know.
that up or whatever.
They're dead, man.
Yeah.
You can't find out about it until you get home.
No, you know what was funny is hella funny. It's kind of on the same kick. Was I was in marching. It's similar, but still, I was in marching band, and
Oh, shit.
they used to always say in marching band, they're like, "Don't lock your knees, you'll fucking pass out, bro, because you'll like cut off blood circulation if you stand too long, like with your knees locked hella tight."
Wow.
And we told my buddy, we're like, yeah, bro, you have to be careful. If you lock your knees because like you can fucking pass out and shit. They're like, yeah, somebody from another school actually died from
shit.
doing that. Like they locked their knees and he had a heat stroke, bro, and he didn't make it, bro. And my freaking buddy who was on drumline with, he was like, fuck, bro. Like, yeah, his name was Ray Barboza, or like, you know, we just made some shit. We made some shit up, and then like we're like, then it's like he's like, that's fucking crazy. And then it's like the next year, and we're like training the younger, you know, the new freshman, and he's all like, yeah, make sure you don't lock your knees because somebody from another school died because of this, bro. R.I.P. for real. That shit was crazy. Like he like
believe it.
remembered it. He remembered like he told that, and then me and my buddy who told him, we were like fucking
yeah.
dying, you know, because like, bro,
Yeah.
he never like
Especially in high school, you could, you know,
Used to
pull
be
one
so
over.
easy to lie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
so classic, bro.
hiding about the report cards, anything, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys had those or not.
I used to have to go home and like delete the voicemail that said your son is failing school like before my parents got home. Yeah,
because I think when we were in like elementary school
How old are you
age,
guys?
I'm 29.
I'm 30. Yeah,
30,
like,
okay, cool.
We were in like the same grade.
We like grew up together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, like in elementary school, it would still be like a physical like report card. But then I remember like once we got to like high school, it was a fucking website.
They could check your website every school loop, bro. School loop, bro.
Dude, fuck
is what
that
it's called.
shit.
It tells you when you're in trouble.
It's
Yeah,
like
it tells you when you're getting beat, bro.
Dude, it's
No,
like
dude.
because you can log into like your student account to like get like updates on like what your grades and shit are.
So your
but
parents
then your
log in.
parents they have like their own account and they can like send messages and stuff with the teachers and like
That's
it's like
horrible.
a whole thing. It sucks.
Well,
so
and
much
it's like
ass.
too. It's like they'd log in, and my mom would be like, "Oh, it's not up yet. It's not up yet." And I'm like, "He didn't update it yet." And
Yeah.
like those are one time I got my ass beat, and then like the teacher like sent a message out. He's like, "Sorry for not updating y'all. Here it is." And it was like 2 days later.
That's
already got beat over it.
Too quick. You can't have that kind of an update.
It's like just give me some fucking time.
Yeah.
It's like there would be like 2 assignments in there, and it's like one had like 100%, and the other one it's like I just like didn't turn it in on time or whatever, and then it would just be like you have a 50 fucking percent in this class, you have an F or whatever. It's like just give me time.
That's just constant
Yeah.
panic attack
Yeah.
shit. Like all
Dude,
day.
oh, that was
dude.
the worst.
No
Well,
fucking way.
You know what was tough too was my fucking art teacher, bro. She did not emphasize how important these one things are. It was like these little worksheets. It was like you had to do in the day. It was like draw a panel using this technique we learned or whatever. And nobody did them because she did not say like, oh, these are hella important. So the first fucking progress report comes around, and my mom's like, an F. You have an F in art.
Dude.
How do you have an F in art, Eli?
Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking, I'm like, I don't know. And then like
dude.
everybody was like, why do we all have fucking F's? She's all like, well, none of you did your little journal thing.
You guys didn't read the fucking syllabus.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
we're
feel
like,
for
wow.
you guys. I always had that like 30-day. It's like report cards are going out, and it's like this pale yellow slip, and then I would get it before it could go to my parents, and I would stuff it into the toilet paper thing in my school. But then I'd have to go and like get it out or whatever later.
That's real.
But just technology, it's it's a bit much.
It was like a surveillance state.
It was no, bro. Dude. They fucking were unleashing new technology upon us, and
it's like, give me some fucking time. I'm like, I always get this shit up to a fucking B- by the end of it. Come on,
dude.
I know.
We did in high school. A group of my friends all did taekwondo, and the instructor told all of our parents if we were being bad at home, like whatever that could mean, to tell him. The parents need to tell him, and then in his office he'd have this like bamboo like stick kind of thing, and then he'd like whip our wrists like super hard like before the class. So that's kind of my version of what you guys had, I guess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like my dad's, my uncle, apparently. So my dad, when he was growing up, my uncle stole the principal's pen, and he gave it to my dad, and my dad's like, oh, sick, this is dope. Where'd you get these? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. And this is back when the fucking principal could fucking hit you and shit. So my dad got fucking beat by the principal.
Man. Over a pen?
Yeah, over a pen. And then he finally said what happened, and then my uncle got beat.
Yeah, well, I guess it's better in some ways, now,
Yeah.
but less beating, hopefully.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Hey, I think that's a pretty good.
That was a good time. Thank you guys for having me on, by the way.
Of course, man.
It was fun.
Yeah, man.
Really cool.
I'm glad we were able to get you on before you skedaddle out of Sacramento.
Yeah.
You said you're going back to Chico.
Going to Chico, yeah. I'll be there. I'm still in Sac for the rest of the month, but it's final countdown right now.
Man.
So try to come back, maybe catch a show here or just wherever,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Comedy is another thing that, trying to learn more about it, go to more shows and stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
it's so
Yeah,
fun,
man.
dude.
Well, I'm really glad we were able to get you on here, bro, again, because, you've been a big supporter of, you come out to the mic, and, you're at the pop-out, and, you fucks with my art, and I fucks with your art.
Yeah,
and so
it's part of the community, so it's really cool.
Are you going to be working at a shop in Chico?
Yeah, it's called Hidden Veil Tattoo.
Nice, okay.
And they're about to open a new shop, which is going to be, like, in the downtown area. So
Nice, hell yeah, man.
it's a good group.
Dude, I'm gonna have to come down and get some shit done.
We should take a trip, because there's other fam of the pod that's up there too.
Yeah, Chico,
some people,
yeah, dude.
I know. Come on up anytime. I mean, maybe not in summer. It's pretty hot, but you can still. There's good swimming spots and stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think they do comedy there too at a few of the spots out there. So
yeah,
man.
Sweet, man. Well, yeah, we'll have to get some tattoos out there,
down,
dude.
hey, I'll add
He still
whatever you
needs
guys
to
want.
get his first one, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, how about this, dude? If you make the trip to Chico, I'll do it for you for free.
We'll do it,
But small, pretty small.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll do that. We'll do it. We'll make a video out of it. We'll vlog out of
Make
it.
some
Yeah.
content, dude.
Well, only if you bring the, you know.
Oh, yep.
little-
Yeah. The GoPro bike.
Body
Yeah.
cam, dude.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Awesome,
well,
man.
shit, bro. Put us on the 2x2 so we can wave by.
Hell yeah. Thanks for joining us.